We're here back at the Fantasy Bar. 6 plays for you for week 4 on Fanduel and Draftkings, including a couple wide receivers I think are way too cheap and some nice buy low opportunities. Some correlation in a game you might not be expecting. Let's go back to the well on a player that disappointed us last week, a quarterback in a smash spot. And of course, my favorite play of the week. Who is it? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome in, guys. Week 4 edition Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack. Welcome back to the Fantasy Bar. Thank you for checking out the video as always. Now, before we get into things, guys, first of all, make sure you guys click that thumbs up button. You guys have been doing a great job of that. That's the tip jar here in the Fantasy Bar. So thank you in advance for that. Secondly, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get notified when these videos are coming out. We're also doing a Yahoo 6-pack. So even if you don't play on Yahoo, it's 6 more guys that I like across most of DFS using Yahoo pricing. So we'll have a link to that right in the video. Check back on Thursday once we record that, and you'll have an easy link from this video over there and vice versa to check out 12 of my favorite players each week. And lastly, make sure you head over to scoresandodds.com/beer. Everything sports betting you need right in one place. The ability to compare odds and find the best price, I think, is very important across different sports books. Look at some of the trends, the history between the two teams, and of course, premium picks, myself included, but all different RotoGrinders personalities going to giving you some of their favorite bets across all the different sports. Make life easy on you. Go check it out today. Scoresandodds.com/beer. All right, let's get into the plays here for week 4. Let's start at wide receiver. One of those buy lows I brought up earlier, Brandon Aiyuk of the Niners. Now, Aiyuk, great prices here. Draftkings just 5K, Fanduel under 6K. I think he's one of the better buy lows we have across DFS. Why? This guy's really starting to get it going. We saw at the end of last season, he can put big games up in a hurry here. Wasn't playing a lot. I know there was worries early on. Is he hurt? Is he just out of favor? Is he in the doghouse? Why in the hell is Trent Sherfield playing ahead of him? But we can put all his concerns to bed. 86% of the snaps last week against Green Bay looked good. Probably should have had a touchdown in that game. Tough catch. Didn't bring it in, but the numbers could have been even better. But I like that he's on the field a lot, and I like that he's going to get the Seattle defense, who's given up a ton of yards through the air. 300-plus passing yards Seattle's allowed here in each of the last 2 games. So I know the Niners want to be very run-heavy. We don't know who that running back is going to be here. Point is, Aiyuk's going to be involved. He may get some of those carries and jet sweeps as well. Too cheap, buy low while you can here on Brandon Aiyuk. All right, let's go to the running back position here. Not going to be a play everybody likes, but I'm liking David Montgomery this week against the Lions. Now, Montgomery, one of those hot button topics, no doubt, but I see these prices, especially on DraftKings at under 6K, a guy that we know can be involved in the passing game. I know Damian Williams going to steal some of those targets away. And even on Fanduel at 7,500, a guy that has big-time touchdown equity in this offense. But we saw the disaster with Justin Fields. Yet to name a starting quarterback here are the Bears and Matt Nagy as of this recording, but I really expect them, no matter who it is, really get back to basics, as it says on the screen, and run the ball here against Detroit. You look at some of the numbers here from Montgomery, average 20 touches per week over the last 2. That game kind of got away from them, so take those numbers with a grain of salt. They were competitive in the first half, but it got ugly there in the second half. I'm expecting another 20-plus touches here for Montgomery. And Detroit not been good against the run here. Bottom 5 in fantasy points allowed so far in 2021, and that's kind of a theme. This team allowed the most fantasy points to running backs last season. Take advantage here. David Montgomery in a great spot here against this awful Detroit defense. Now, let's get correlation on the other side of that. We're going to go right back to the well on tight end TJ Hockenson of the Lions. Now, we had him in the spot last week, disappointed, no doubt. Baltimore went out of their way to take him out of the ball game, and I know a lot of teams are going to do that, but I think Detroit going to really scheme up ways to get this guy the ball. The wide receivers really leave a lot to be desired on that team, and the running backs can't get all the targets here. So don't be afraid to go back to the well on Hockenson. I know you're probably stinging a little bit. He hurt a lot of my lineups as well, but I like this spot against Chicago. We saw him get 20 targets over the first 2 games, only 2 last week, like I mentioned. I'm expecting him to go back up towards that 8, 9, 10 targets here. Bears have done a good job against tight ends so far this season, no doubt, but always dig a little bit deeper. Who have they played? Sure, Tyler Higbee, a solid tight end. Cincinnati, no tight ends really to name. And Cleveland, basically a split there between 3 guys. So they haven't faced the toughest tight end schedule. And last season, this team was awful against tight ends. Second most fantasy points allowed. So I think we start to see more of that here this week. And I think it's led by TJ Hockenson with a big bounce back game against the Chicago Bears. All right, more value at the wide receiver position here. We'll roll with Corey Davis of the Jets. Now, not many times this season we're going to have a Jet here in the six-pack, so wanted to give him some love here while we had the opportunity. For my Jets fans out there, Davis, and we call him a bright spot. Some may argue he hasn't even been that great, but the Jets been awful so far to start this season. Well, why do we want to play him here, Beer? That's the question you're asking yourselves. Well, Tennessee, let's lay this out here. We know they're big favorites in this game. We know people are going to be playing Derrick Henry. I like Derrick Henry here as well, even at 10-2 on Fanduel. I think he's in play. So the likely outcome here is Tennessee is winning and leading this game for the majority of it. Well, guess what? That means a pass-heavy game script for the Jets and not against defenses like Carolina and Denver. They've had a tough stretch here of very good defenses here. Tennessee does not check that box here. Bottom 3 in receiving yards allowed, touchdowns allowed, fantasy points allowed, and you get the narrative on top. Former teammates here with the Tennessee Titans. I think Corey Davis has a nice game under 6K on both sites. A great running back for your Derrick Henry lineups or even as a one-off in your tournaments is Corey Davis. All right, let's get to the quarterback position here. A guy I really like this week. I'm rolling with Jalen Hurts against the Chiefs. So everybody watched that game against Dallas and Hurts was terrible, but at the end of the day, he finds a way to get there with his running ability. We know he gives you that solid floor, also gives you huge upside as well. If he finds it in the passing department, you're talking 30+ fantasy points, putting yourself in contention in these tournaments. Now this game here, 54-point total here. We know the Chiefs are going to score points. They are 1-2. They are staring a 1-3 start right in the face. We know they're going to want to get it going here, and I think they will. That's going to lead to a lot of offensive opportunities here for Jalen Hurts, both on the ground, through the air. The Chiefs have been terrible against quarterbacks. Now, again, you dig a little bit deeper, they faced a very difficult schedule of quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert have really lit this team up, but second most fantasy points allowed and the most rushing yards allowed, which I think plays very well here to Jalen Hurts. Under 8K on Fanduel, under 7K on Draftkings. Easily my favorite quarterback this week, and you don't have to pair him. I know you're going to hear you have to pair him. 99% of the time, you need a pairing. If you want to pair him, obviously guys like Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert come into play, but I'm totally fine rolling Jalen Hurts out there naked, running it back with some Chiefs, and finding some value to fill in the rest of your lineup. Point is, Jalen Hurts in play in all formats on all sites this week against that terrible Kansas City defense. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play for week 4. But before we do that, we want to continue our Beast of the Week contest. This is a thank you to you guys for hanging out, for checking out the video. I greatly appreciate the engagement, the comments, good or bad, does not matter to me. Love talking football with you guys, so please keep it up. Make sure you've hit that thumbs up button. All you have to do, get in the comment section right below the video and guess fantasy points on DraftKings for my favorite play of the week. The closest guess win themselves a free month of RotoGrinders Premium, a chance to check everything out behind the scenes, including Lineup HQ, an invaluable tool building those daily fantasy lineups. Let's get to it. Let's check out my favorite play for week 4. You know him as the Beast of the Week. All right, Beast time. We owe you one more running back. We've saved you a lot of money so we can spend up to Alvin Kamara of the Saints, this week's Beast of the Week. Now, I know Derrick Henry going to be a popular play up top, but I like saving a little bit of money here with Alvin Kamara. I think this is a smash spot for him at home. We know home favorite running backs definitely start out in a good spot. We also look at when the Saints have won games, this guy has seen a ton of touches. We saw it last week at New England. We saw it in week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. We're talking 26 opportunities a game. They do not want Jameis Winston winging the ball all over the field. And I don't think the Giants are going to put up enough points where they have to go to a pass-heavy game plan. Even if they did, Alvin Kamara is their best receiver as well. Marquez Callaway just has not filled the bill right now while they wait for Michael Thomas to come back. So even if things don't go as we expect them to go, Alvin Kamara is still in a fantastic spot here. Not to mention the Giants' 7th most DraftKings points allowed to the running back position. Feels like one of those big games for Alvin Kamara, checking all the boxes for me, making him easily my favorite play on the week and this week's Beast of the Week. All right, guys, that'll wrap us up for week 4 here in the Fantasy Bar, talking Fanduel and DraftKings. If you have any comments, questions, feedback, please continue the talk in the chat, guys. Love to see it. Again, good, bad, ugly, does not matter to me. Love the engagement there, so please keep it up. Make sure you've hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel, and make sure you go and check out scoresandodds.com/beer for everything sports betting, whether you're new, whether you're a veteran. Tons of information that's going to help everybody. Link in the description of the video. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Best of luck, guys, this week. Keep an eye out on the Yahoo six-pack, coming out with 6 more plays that I like, and also my Pints and Picks videos with 2 of my favorite bets of the week presented by BetMGM. Lastly, make sure you are listening to the DFS OGs podcast every single Wednesday. Head Shopper Notorious and myself breaking down the entire main slate with our favorite plays, our favorite bets. We also have a private contest on Fanduel, fanduel.com/OG. Only 500 entries in this thing. Get to play against us. Single entry tournament with a season-long payout. Somebody's going to walk away with $5,000 at the end. Only your top 10 scores count, so not too late to jump in that contest. Go and reserve your entry today at fanduel.com/OG. Best of luck, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist